Bring in Marc Spears, senior NBA writer for The Undefeated. How jealous are you with Meat Friday there, Mark?
Man, I got a trigger.
Okay.
I'm warming it up tonight. You inspired me to get some steaks.
All right. Is that your go-to on the Traeger?
Yeah, I'm still. I got to get past novice status. My wife is talking bad about me, like not paying attention to the app as well as I need to, and the thermometer.
Would you like to talk to my advisor, my Traeger advisor? Because I'd be willing to do that for you.
Yes.
Okay. I will have.
This is with all seriousness.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I don't joke when it comes to barbecue.
No, man.
Now, it depends on how good you are in this segment. If you're good, then I'm going to give you my advisor's number. Okay? No pressure, Mark, okay?
Oh, man. Man.
All right, here we go. We're going to play a game.
Hey, man, can I say it's a pleasure to talk to you, man. You're a legend in this business, so it's a pleasure.
Thank you, Mark. I did see your Michael Jordan story, and I always tell my Jordan story of how competitive he is.
Yeah.
And after he hit the shot in Utah, we thought his career was over. He ended on a championship jumper, and we were ready to go on SportsCenter, and I'm going to interview him. And he comes in, he's drenched in champagne, his jersey's out, basketball in his arm, Cuban cigar, does the interview, and he gets up, and I don't know what to say because I think this is the last time he's going to play a game. So I said, man, it's a shame you're retiring. And he turns, he goes, why is that? I said, I'd like a piece of you. He goes, what the? And he said, stand up. So I'm in my suit and tie. So I got Phil Jackson ready to go on SportsCenter with me. Yeah. We just went to commercial break. Stand up. So I stood up. He goes, how the bleep would you guard me? So I put my arm in his back like a forearm bar. And he goes, I would. And then he just, there are a lot of MFers in there. And then he walked out the door. And I sat down. I went, what just happened? What just happened? And Phil Jackson goes, you see what I dealt with all the time. Tell your Michael Jordan story.
Well, it's actually a story I got from Maktar Njai, Knicks scout, former North Carolina player. And as you know, Dean Smith always had former players come in. So one day, Michael Jordan came in just to visit with the players, and he goes by, and Dean has him shake all the guys' hands. And, hey, what's your name? Oh, I'm Anton Jameson. Nice to meet you. Hey, what's your name? I'm Vince Carter. Nice to meet you. Well, Maktar's crazy, man. He goes to the end of the line, and Jordan comes up to him and goes, hey, what's your name? He's like, Maktar Njai. What's your name? Michael. Nice to meet you, Michael. And Michael goes, well, where are you from? Senegal. Well, they must not have much basketball in Senegal if you don't know who I am. And he goes, yeah. Nice to meet you. But and Akeem Olajuwon's the greatest player of all time, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Jordan gets pissed off, runs into the back, puts on some practice gear, comes out, and tells Dean Smith, give me your walk-ons, the guys at the end of your bench, I'm playing your starters. So he proceeds to play with like Serge Wicker and some other guys I don't remember. And apparently they played, Serge Wicker looked like a number one pick in the draft next to Jordan, right? And they're killing Vince Carter. And Vince is pissed at Mac because he has to guard him, right? But Jordan's trying to dunk on Mac. Mac gets out of the way. Jordan basically shows those Maktar and everybody else who he is, in case they didn't know. And he's in his prime with the Bulls at the time. And so years later, Anton Jameson had a day off with the Wizards. He goes to Miami for Super Bowl weekend, and Maktar's with him. So they're trying to get in this club, and Jordan comes out from the rooftop, and they basically like, Mike, can you let us in? Can you let us in? And Jordan yells down to Maktar, oh, now you remember my name, Africa? Why don't you go tell Akeem to help you get in, and walks back in. So I heard Jameson was mad at Maktar for getting that story out, but this is Hoop Stories and Undefeated. We got a couple. They're animated, which I think makes it funnier. And last one was on James Harden's bodyguard getting beat up in San Francisco. And hopefully ESPN will get behind it, and we'll have more soon, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was great. How about we play fill in the blank?
Okay.
All right. The Greek Freak is the blank player in the world.
He's the best now. He's the best. But I also thought I kind of think if you're Finals MVP, you own that title for the summer.
Unless it's Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, no, it's his title for the summer. He's
Yeah.
Finals MVP. That's just how I feel about it. I mean, Kevin Durant's the best in the world to me. I'd still take him over anybody, but I was impressed with Giannis finally getting out of his own way and going inside. I thought shooting the threes is certainly not his game. Being easy to guard by taking those long steps and letting people jump in front of him. He did what my coach always told me to do in college and high school: get your butt in the post.
Yeah.
And once he got his butt in the post, man, he dominated. There was nothing they could do. He doesn't score 50 if he's shooting jumpers.
No, and we've bought into this game plan of that's what you have to do. And I said the same thing on the show. I said, nobody can guard him down low. And if you miss your first shot, you'll get your second shot. They dominated on the offensive glass. It was like, I'm not going to play into your strategy. You got to play into my strategy. And that's why, he was exceptional. For a guy who doesn't have a go-to move, he certainly scored a lot.
He neutralized his superpower by shooting jumpers.
Yes.
And so I think this series was bad for the analytic people. You had Giannis scoring in the post. Obviously, Middleton and Chris Paul and Booker hit a lot of mid-range jumpers. So you can't tell me that scoring in the post and making mid-range jumpers is not valuable on this level anymore.
We're talking to Marc Spears, senior NBA writer for The Undefeated. You had a lot of chatter about what the Lakers could do in the offseason. Could do.
Yes, sir.
Let's look at, how about what should they do, and then if it's different from what they will do. What should they do?
Well, what they should do is find a veteran point guard. They got this window now. That's not that wide open. Obviously, health, I think, ruined everything for them this year. They could have potentially repeated, but they're looking for a veteran point guard, and they need to. I've heard that Russell Westbrook's on that list. I've heard that Chris Paul is on that list. Obviously, it's not easy. It's just making some trade, but they do have some assets. Dennis Schroeder could do a sign and trade. Kyle Kuzma is an interesting young player. I've seen enough of, and I think you've seen enough of Talen Horton-Tucker, where I think with the kid's like 20 and he's a bucket getter, man. So they have some pieces that they could move. It's not trading to AD or LeBron, but I'd be intrigued to see if Washington, especially if Bill wants to go, could be interested in moving Russell back home. Chris Paul's is more complicated.
Yeah, I don't like Russell going. His tempo is different than LeBron, so that would concern me. Chris Paul, yeah. But I could, like, Kyle Lowry makes maybe a little more sense than those
less
guys.
complicated.
Yeah, exactly. Malcolm Brogdon, Mike Conley, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it just feels like it's going to be tricky. Like, when it's all said and done, what do you think the Lakers look like next season? Is Kyle Kuzma there? Schroeder there? No.
Schroeder already took Lakers off his Instagram page, man. He's letting you know that he's not coming back. I think for Kyle, man, and I'm not speaking for Kyle, but I think he needs to get out of that Lakers shadow. The same way Brandon Ingram flourished afterwards. The same way Julius Randle, Jordan Clarkson, like they all flourished after they left.
But I think they like it. I think Kyle Kuzma likes being a Laker, even though being a Laker is not the best thing for his career. Does that make sense?
I think he likes it off the court.
Yeah.
But he seems to play much better when he's a starter. So, it's interesting that you mentioned the Kyle Lowry thing. If Kyle says, I want to be a Laker, I think Masai Ujiri respects him and helps them make that happen. And the one thing that helps the Raptors is, hey, they do have some assets that we could get back to help our team and not lose Kyle for nothing.
Let me get your Damian Lillard prediction.
Whew. Man, I known Dame since he came into the league. I was at that famous workout at Merritt College in Oakland. That was the greatest workout I've ever seen. he told me that he's loyal, but not to a fault, and I think the loyalty is run out. I think there's certainly a lot of pressure on the Blazers to make something happen, to make it attractive going into next season. But what can they do? They don't have a lot of assets. They don't have much they could trade. I mean, you could only get so much for C.J. McCollum. Their team pretty much needs an overhaul. Their bigs are always hurt. I don't know if they could do enough in time. So after this Olympic experience, it's not going to help the Blazers. He's next to KD. He's next to like Draymond. He's next to guys like, hey, why don't you come play here? Why don't you, let me see what I could do. So I'm really nervous for the Blazers right now. But perhaps what Giannis did might give Dame another breath. But he basically told him, you got to make some moves, man. Like I'm not coming back with this team.
The Warriors are intriguing for me because it feels like they want to do something. Now, I thought they would compete for the title if everybody was healthy this last year. I thought that much of that roster. But it just feels like, can they package some players, some picks? Can they take a big swing here in the offseason?
I'm actually not going to go to the draft because the world is crazy right now. I live in the Bay, but I am going to go to the Warriors media availability because, to your point, I think they're going to do something. And I think they might have the blockbuster move. They have 7. They have 14. Wiggins had a solid season. Wiseman, I think, is going to be special. I saw enough from him that I think, and especially when you see what happened with Ayton, you got to be patient with bigs. I think they're fine if they leave their team alone. Like Clay is going to be back. Wiseman is going to be better. I don't know that they really need to make a blockbuster move. In fact, I would just be patient and perhaps wait until mid-season. But what if somebody dangles Beal? What if the Blazers are like, hey, what about Dame for some of that young? But they have assets to make a move, and I'm sure that they're having a lot of conversations. If there is a team that's going to make a move, I put them on the list, and I put Washington on the list too.
Before I let you go, I know you wrote a column on LSU star Cameron Thomas. It's not just about him being a top NBA draft pick. It's more about his mom and the role that she's played in making him become that kind of man.
Yeah, no, Leslie Thomas basically, how many moms took rebounds, yells at her son for not making free throws because they're free. And so from the beginning, when he was 2 years old, she groomed him into being the star. And there are NBA teams that wonder, is Cameron Thomas, who averaged 23 points, who was a first-team All-SEC, who led off freshman scoring, is mom going to get in the way? Well, I think in this story, you see that mom is actually pushing them to the next level. And
she's an Army veteran.
Friendship. Yeah, she was in the Army for 4 years. Will Wade said he's the most disciplined freshman he's ever had, the coach at LSU. He said this kid shows up 20 minutes early to practice. Like what freshman does that? So I think his mom has instilled some Army values that, along with his scoring ability, is going to make him a very intriguing prospect on Thursday.
Fritzy's going to reach out to you, and I'm going to put you.
So I got it?
I think by all accounts.
I passed the test?
Let's vote. Let's vote. If Spears gets to talk to our barbecue advisor, Chad at Traeger. Paulie?
He nailed the Jordan story right to the point.
Okay. Fritzy?
Absolutely.
Okay. Seton?
Yeah. Crush, get the man the number.
All right. I was going to say no, but, it's...
Hey, but that's 3 out of 4.
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
3 out of 4, huh?
3 out of... my vote counts as 2, just to let you know, Mark.
But I still passed.
I know you did. So
I'll get LSU San Jose State math. I think I still passed.
Wow. I'm going to have Fritzy reach out to our Traeger advisor. He's actually a champion griller, and he'd be more than happy to help you in giving you some advice.
Man, you made my day, brother.
Have a great weekend, Mark. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Marc Spears, senior NBA writer for The Undefeated.